parity. There's a precious lack of it in the Big Ten right now. It's Ohio State's yard every single year. Some of you in and around Columbus, Ohio love it. The rest of you don't like it so much up there. I was doing the Late Kick Extra podcast the other day, and that is a pure mailbag that we do on Tuesday and Thursday. You submit the questions, I answer them rapid fire style. It's one of our very favorite products that we put out on a weekly basis. And Chris asked me a question that I answered Tuesday, but I kind of wanted to revisit it here. He said, do you think the Big Ten is going to go the way of the ACC in terms of one team just dominating and completely choking off the lifeblood of every other program? And I think right now the answer is yeah, that seems to be the way it's trending. But see, I'm not one to believe that it's Ohio State's fault that everyone else has fallen by the wayside. I think a lot of those programs are complicit, along with Ohio State taking care of their business. Because what is Ohio State really doing? Well, they're taking football as seriously as you can possibly take it. Everyone's invested. Everyone's all in. It is the proverbial freight train, 47 cars on the track. They're all going the same direction at the same speed. There's no one who wants to go this way and someone else wants to go that way. And, well, we want to divert some resources here. It's all about Ohio State football. They don't apologize for it, nor should they. But also, they are assassins on the recruiting trail. They don't care how much talent they have. It's never enough. They don't care how much they're beating you by. They want to beat you by more. They're playing to that standard. It operates the same way at Alabama. And so they're doing all that. What has Clemson done? Clemson has built themselves in a very unique way. They have a unique Clemson culture there. They've gotten recruiting right. They've got the right head coach. Like, they've got the staff in place that they want. They hardly ever have to replace any staff members. So that's what those programs are guilty of. And some of the haters out there would suggest to you, well, the sport's just built to benefit them. False. The sport is built to benefit them, not them alone. Any system that is built to benefit Clemson is also built to benefit Florida State and Miami. Any system that's built to benefit Ohio State is also built to benefit Penn State and Iowa and Wisconsin and Michigan. The difference is they do it the right way, whereas you guys haven't been able to keep up. Now, you can either be mad at them, mad at the system, or you can look in the mirror. I would suggest looking in the mirror, because Ohio State's not slowing down. It's kind of like changing the playoff structure. Nothing happens to the big boys. You just further victimize yourself. So what you should do is what North Carolina's doing right now. North Carolina has never given a crap what Clemson's doing. The second Mac Brown walked in, he said, great, but we're going to do it the way we want to do it here, and eventually, watch and see what I tell you, we'll be able to compete with them. Well, what a shocker, 2 or 3 years down the road. We're going to talk about North Carolina in a second, so I don't want to get to that. But any system that is built to assist the big boys is also built to assist you if you have comparable resources to them, which you do at Michigan, which you do at Texas A&M, or which you do at Miami, Florida State. Man, and I could go on and on. There are no less than a dozen other programs. You think Tennessee and Texas have really been down because of the system? Really? Did the system not exist in 2005 or 1998? Did the system not exist then? The system existed. You were just the beneficiary of it then, so you didn't want to open your mouth. Clemson, they care a lot. Ohio State, they care a lot. But you know what else they did? They also got hiring right, which a lot of you don't. You make poor hires, and then you compound that with worse hires to replace the poor hires, and then you get where bad hires get you, and then you look around and you say, oh, it's the complex's fault. It's the system's fault. It's not the system's fault. It's just that in Columbus, Ohio, when one of the best coaches in the history of the game, Urban Meyer, stepped down, which should crumble a program, by the way, they made the right replacement, Ryan Day. And not only is the program just as good, I think it's better in several areas now. At Clemson, they had Tommy Bowden. Tommy Bowden was doing some things there that hadn't been done in a while. And then it was time to replace him. And they looked internally. Another theme here. Looking right inside your own four walls for the replacement. And they take a guy who's never been a head coach before, and his name's Dabo Swinney. And it didn't happen immediately there, but it turns out both programs made the right hires. That's the whole secret here, guys. The system is built to benefit a whole bunch of you. A whole bunch of you do have the resources. A whole bunch of you do have the facilities. And if you don't have them now, you got enough people with deep enough pockets to write a check to make it happen tomorrow. You got to make the right hires. You can't make the wrong hires, get the results that the wrong hires produce, and then look out the window and say, well, the problem's out there. The problem's in the mirror. The only difference in Ohio State and Clemson is they've made the right hiring decisions. At Alabama, they were bad for a long time. Then they made the right hiring decision. Now they've been really good for a long time. It was always Alabama. This stuff's not that hard to figure out. The ACC, unlike the Big Ten at the moment, has started to get itself off the mat, though. Led by North Carolina. I would argue Florida State's doing some good things. May take a couple more years to see it pay off. I think Miami's doing some good things. May take a year or two. Maybe this year, we'll see, to see it pay off. North Carolina's ready to go now, though. And so they have started to respond. It's kind of like if you've ever watched a forest fire come through. Everything's burned. Everything's charred. But then if you come back to that same spot a few years later, there's some vegetation growing. Well, in a lot the same way, Clemson has totally torched the ACC. But there's some things now starting to grow as a result of that. Not only that, don't think for a second the ACC hasn't been looking around and seeing Clemson most recently in the semifinal getting knocked around a little bit and saying, oh my, so they are human after all. I like that there are powerhouse programs. I don't like that some of you look at the powerhouse programs and think, oh, they're the problem with college football. I strongly dislike that too many of you aren't willing to look your own administration in the eye and say, why aren't we just like them? And then call BS when those people give you the runaround and say, oh, we don't have this that they have. We don't have that they have. Yeah, you do. Yes, you do.